Cyrus the Great conquered the world, but it was Darius who built it. While Cyrus is remembered as the liberator and Alexander as the destroyer, Darius the Great was something rarer and more valuable than either, an administrative genius who transformed a collection of conquered territories into a functioning civilization. He built the world's first postal system. He constructed the Royal Road, history's first highway network. He began Persepolis, the most magnificent palace complex the ancient world had ever seen. He standardized currency across 3 continents. He gave 50 million people a unified system of law and governance. This is the story of Darius the Great, the emperor who built everything. Darius did not inherit the throne peacefully. After Cyrus died, his son Cambyses became king. Cambyses conquered Egypt but grew increasingly erratic and cruel. He died under mysterious circumstances in 522 BC while returning from Egypt, possibly by his own hand. What followed was chaos. A man claiming to be Cambyses' murdered brother seized the throne. Darius, a young Persian nobleman and distant relative of Cyrus, saw his opportunity. He organized a conspiracy with 6 other Persian nobles. Together, they killed the false king and his supporters. Darius then outmaneuvered his co-conspirators and claimed the throne for himself. He was 28 years old. The real work was just beginning. Darius's first year as king was the most dangerous of his life. His seizure of power triggered massive rebellions across the empire simultaneously. Babylon rebelled twice. Egypt threatened to break away. Persia itself had internal challengers. Media, Elam, Parthia, and Sagartia all rose against him at the same time. Darius responded with extraordinary energy and military genius. He fought 19 major battles in a single year, personally leading his army across thousands of miles of empire. He crushed each rebellion decisively and then did something remarkable. He recorded every victory in magnificent detail on the Bayaston rock inscription, carved into a cliff face so high that nobody could destroy it. Once Darius had secured his throne, he turned to the enormous challenge of governing the largest empire in history. He divided the empire into 20 administrative units called satrapies, each governed by a satrapies, each governed by a satrap, essentially a regional governor. Each satrap was responsible for collecting taxes, maintaining order, and defending their region. But Darius was too smart to simply trust his governors. He created a system of royal inspectors called the Eyes and Ears of the King, who traveled secretly throughout the empire, reporting directly to Darius about conditions and governor behavior. This created accountability at every level of government. No satrap could become too powerful without Darius knowing about it immediately. Perhaps Darius's most impressive practical achievement was the Royal Road, stretching approximately 2,700 kilometers from Susa in Persia to Sardis in modern Turkey. This wasn't simply a dirt track. It was a carefully engineered road with regular rest stations, fresh horses, and royal courier relay services positioned every 25 kilometers along its entire length. A royal messenger could travel the entire length of the road in approximately 7 days, an extraordinary speed for the ancient world. Normal travelers took about 90 days for the same journey. The Greek historian Herodotus famously observed that neither snow, rain, heat, nor darkness could stop these royal messengers from completing their appointed routes. Connected to the Royal Road was an even more revolutionary innovation, the world's first organized postal system. Darius created a network of royal messengers called Angaria, who could relay messages across the entire empire with remarkable speed and reliability. Each messenger would ride to the next station, hand the message to a fresh rider and horse, and the message would continue without stopping day or night. This system was so efficient and so admired that it directly inspired later communication systems throughout history. The United States Postal Service motto about neither snow nor rain nor heat-stopping mail delivery is directly borrowed from Herodotus's description of the original Persian messenger system created by Darius. Darius revolutionized the Persian economy in ways that still influence our world today. Before Darius, trade across the empire was complicated by the use of different weights, measures, and forms of payment in different regions. Darius standardized everything. He introduced the gold daric, a standardized gold coin bearing the image of a royal archer, which became the dominant currency across the ancient world. He standardized weights and measures across the entire empire, making trade dramatically easier. He introduced a regular taxation system that calculated tribute based on each region's actual agricultural and economic capacity rather than arbitrary demands. This created predictable revenue for the state and more manageable obligations for the population. In 518 BC, Darius began construction of the most magnificent palace complex in the ancient world at a site called Persepolis. He chose a remote location in the mountains of Fars province, the original homeland of the Persian people, deliberately making it a ceremonial rather than administrative capital. Persepolis was designed to awe every visitor who entered. Massive staircases led to terraced platforms where enormous columned halls could hold thousands of people simultaneously. The famous Apadana Hall had 72 columns, each 20 meters tall, supporting a cedarwood roof visible from miles away. Every surface was decorated with carved reliefs showing delegations from across the empire, bringing tribute, demonstrating Persian power to all who saw it. Darius codified Persian law, creating a legal system that applied consistently across the entire empire. He built on the tradition of Cyrus the Great's human rights principles, insisting that conquered peoples be governed according to their own local laws and customs wherever possible. He issued royal decrees that protected property rights, regulated trade, and established procedures for resolving disputes. When he rebuilt the destroyed temple in Jerusalem, he funded it from the royal treasury, consistent with Persian policy of respecting local religious institutions. His legal innovations influenced later Greek, Roman, and eventually modern legal systems. Many principles we take for granted in modern law trace their ancestry back to Darius's Persian legal code. Despite his extraordinary administrative achievements, Darius is perhaps most famous in Western history for his wars with Greece. The conflict began when Greek cities in Anatolia, called Ionia, rebelled against Persian rule with Athenian support. Darius crushed the Ionian revolt decisively, but he never forgot that Athens had sent ships to help the rebels. He demanded that Greek cities submit to Persian authority. Most did, but Athens and Sparta refused. Darius sent a military expedition to punish Athens in 490 BC. It was a relatively small force intended to make a demonstration rather than conquer all of Greece. What happened next shocked the Persian world and changed history forever. In September 490 BC, the Persian force landed at Marathon, a coastal plain northeast of Athens. The Athenian army was significantly outnumbered. Persian commanders expected easy victory, but the Athenian general Miltiades had a brilliant tactical idea. Instead of fighting defensively, he ordered his heavily armored infantry to charge at a run across the open plain directly at the Persian lines. The Persians, expecting a slow approach they could rain arrows on, were shocked by the speed of the attack. The Greek center held while the wings crashed through the Persian flanks. The Persian army broke and fled to their ships. Approximately 6,400 Persians died. Only 192 Athenians fell. Darius was stunned. The defeat at Marathon was a humiliation Darius could not accept. He immediately began planning a massive revenge expedition that would not make the same mistakes. He ordered tribute increases across the empire to fund a much larger military force. He began recruiting soldiers from every corner of the Persian world. He planned to personally lead the next invasion with an army so large that Greek resistance would be impossible. But fate intervened. Egypt rebelled in 486 BC, requiring urgent military attention. Then, in that same year, Darius the Great died at approximately 64 years of age, leaving the revenge campaign to his son Xerxes. He never got his rematch with Athens. Darius the Great ruled for 36 years and left behind a transformed world. The administrative system he created was so effective that Alexander the Great, after destroying the Persian Empire, kept most of it intact because nothing better existed. The satrapy system influenced every subsequent empire. The royal road concept influenced Roman road construction. His postal system inspired communication networks across history. His standardized currency and weights influenced Greek, Macedonian, and later Roman economic systems. Persepolis, though burned by Alexander, still stands partially today as one of the most magnificent archaeological sites in the world. Darius didn't just build an empire. He built systems that outlasted the empire itself by thousands of years. Much of what we know about Darius comes from two sources, his own inscriptions and the Greek historian Herodotus. Darius was a master of royal propaganda, leaving detailed inscriptions at Behistun, Persepolis, and across the empire describing his achievements in his own words. These inscriptions are remarkably frank about the chaos after Cambyses died and Darius's own role in seizing power. Herodotus, writing from the Greek perspective, provides valuable information about the wars, but with natural Greek bias. Reading both sources together gives us a surprisingly detailed picture of one of history's most capable rulers. Modern archaeology continues to add new pieces to the picture, particularly through the Persepolis fortification archive tablets discovered in excavations. Darius the Great was not the most famous Persian king. Cyrus is more beloved. Xerxes is more infamous. But Darius was arguably the most important. He took a conquered empire and turned it into a functioning civilization. He created systems so effective they outlasted his empire by centuries. He built roads that connected the ancient world. He created communication networks that inspired future generations. He standardized the economy of 3 continents. He gave 50 million people justice, governance, and order. Without Darius, the Persian Empire collapses after Cyrus. Without Darius, there is no Persepolis, no royal road, no postal system. He didn't just rule the world, he built it. This is HistorioPedia, history that feels real.